Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lenny and I have 6 Dachshunds, 5 long hair and 1 smooth. As something a little fun to do for a video following our last video, which was a bit more emotional, I thought I would list 10 things that I wish I knew about owning a male Dachshund. This video's a little bit of fun really, more than anything, but there are some things that I've seen people ask about their dog and then have people laugh at them for asking. But I think they're good, serious questions, but they are a bit funny. So I'm going to go through those 10 things. There's probably more, but I picked 10. So in no particular order, the first one. So the first one is when little boy puppies get a little bit older and a little bit more mature, these 2 lumps start to appear occasionally on their, what am I going to call it during this video? On their manhood. Let's call it that. Their manhood. Some of this I'm not going to be able to include photos of, but if I can, I will. So often people get concerned and think that their dogs, let's call them testicles, let's be posh, their dog's testicles have come up into their manhood, but it hasn't. It's something called the bulbus glandis, but funnily enough, it's not a gland. It's basically a mechanism that's built into their body so that they can tie to a female when they mate. So if you didn't know, when male dogs mate to female dogs, they get stuck together and it's called tying. And that's what they're there for. So don't worry, don't panic. It's not their testicles going into their manhood area. It's completely natural and they will go back down. I've actually found that a lot of the times when those, they're not glands, but when that area is swollen, that my dog just needs a wee. So I will take him out for a wee and then it goes away. Number 2 on my 10 things that I wish I knew about owning a male Dachshund. Male puppies at any age, and I'm talking any age, I have seen 10-week-old puppies do this, can start humping, and loads of people think that it's them being horny. It's not. She even got me on camera. It wasn't me. Humping can mean absolutely anything. So dogs are quite weird in the fact that any type of arousal they can show through humping. So that can be excitement, worry, boredom. It could be anything. So if they start humping you or other people or dogs or toys or beds, she even got me on camera. It wasn't me. It's not always going to mean that they're maturing and they're in the mood. It can mean various other things. But be aware that you might be slightly embarrassed at some point in their life that they've gone over to your mate and they've started humping them. The other thing to know is that when they're humping a male dog, it doesn't always mean dominance. It can just mean play, it can just mean excited to see another dog. So just because your dog humps male dogs doesn't mean they prefer males. It just means that they were feeling something at that time and wanted to hump them. But it's always good to try and correct that and stop them doing it, because a lot of other male dogs and female dogs don't like it. So you can correct that and tell them to get off. Number 3 is one I'm definitely not going to be able to include a photo in. So often as male dogs start getting more mature and humping stuff, their little lipstick can get stuck out. And those glands that I was talking about earlier that aren't glands, but let's call them glands, they get stuck out with them. So people panic, oh my gosh, it's stuck out, it's been stuck out for 5 minutes. Don't panic, let them sort it out. And if it's stuck out for too much time, so if you're really starting to get worried, then call a vet and they will tell you how to get it back in. I'm not going to give you tips on how to get that back in because it's not my place. But you can do things to get it back in at home, let's just say. But yeah, so if the lipstick and the 2 tying knots get stuck outside of the skin, don't panic at all. It happens all the time, completely natural, and they usually will clean themselves and it will go back down in time. So number 4 is a bit more educational, although I think all of them are educational, but number 4 is a bit more educational. So you would have seen in my previous video about IVDD that I said you shouldn't neuter your dogs until they are at least 18 months to 2 years old so that they're fully mature. But one thing I want to let you know that I have had is that when my male dog was then neutered, keeping in mind that my male dogs are both long hairs, when Fenton was neutered, his hair changed completely. And I mean completely. So definitely, if you've got a long-haired dog, keep in mind that their hair might change. Also, you might have to change their diet because they do seem to pound on the weight after they've had their bits taken off. So we have reduced Fenton's diet ever so slightly, and will continue to reduce it based on his body condition, which again, you can see in my previous video how important body condition is. But yeah, just something that I've had in my male dog. I'm sure it's the same in females, but this video is about male dogs. Number 5, a little bit gross. A lot of male dogs I have spotted like to lick up female wee. Yeah, they like to do it. Don't know whether they find it tasty, don't know the reason for it. I'm sure they get a lot of information from licking that wee. But be ready to be kissed on the face after they've licked a wee. Just letting you know. Don't think I need to say much more about that particular point, but yeah, they like to lick up wee, and generally speaking it's usually female wee, and generally speaking it usually stinks on their breath. Now, number 6, I haven't noticed in every dog, but I have noticed it in some. So it seems that when they start going through that maturity, they do sometimes get their lovely juices. Oh, lovely. I'm not going to say lovely juices. They do get their juices on your clothes and things. So what I would say, God, this is gross. So what I would say is when they're going through maturity, if you start spotting little dots of things on your clothes, that's probably what it is. And so it's maybe worth wearing clothes where you can't see that, or carrying around some wet wipes so you can clean it up. And that can be anything from a white juice to something a bit more yellowy. And it doesn't mean much other than they're just going through that maturity. They start cleaning themselves. You don't get it forever, but just something worth knowing. Ugh. Number 7, if you've got a male dog, you need to keep all of your laundry out of the way and out of reach. Because male dogs, and I have seen this be more specific to male dogs than female dogs, like to eat underwear and socks. So if you've got, and actually that's clean underwear and socks and dirty underwear and socks, just keep them out of reach. Because if they do eat it, it's going to be a massive vet bill to get it out. So it's best that you just are extra careful and you set this as a goal to yourself before you even get the male dog, that you're going to keep all underwear and socks out of reach, dirty or clean. A lot of this I'm talking about Dachshunds, but to be honest with you, it's just all dogs. All male dogs. Number 8. I have found it quite common for male Dachshunds to be slightly more, not aggressive, but slightly more on edge around other unneutered males. And I think, again, this is across all dogs in general, but it's just something worth keeping in mind when introducing a unneutered male to an unneutered male, that maybe you need to be slightly more aware that they could fall out. So that can be things like they sniff each other and then realise, oh my god, he's an unneutered male, and they start growling. So just being more aware and making sure it's very controlled. Of course you should do any introduction controlled anyway, but I'm just flagging it that if your male seems to bark more at certain dogs, have a look and see if they've still got their testicles, because it does seem that they will be slightly more on edge around other unneutered males. Number 9, when your dog has started hitting maturity, and you definitely know they have, so 6 months plus, you know, they're humping things, they're scent marking, or certain things that show maturity, it might be worth keeping in mind that they could flee when they're on walks. And when I say flee, I mean their recall might suddenly not work. What can happen at this point is that they can smell a female in season from bloody miles away and decide that they are going after it. And that happens from any time where they've hit maturity, so 6 months, and if you keep them unneutered throughout their life. So it's just worth keeping in mind that they might not just suddenly be being naughty, they might actually have smelt something, and I mean they can smell that miles away, and they're going after it. So if you have one of those moments where you think, what on earth made my dog run to the other side of the field, that might be the start of that showing. So keep that in mind that, yeah, unneutered males can sometimes want to flee, go and find girls that are in season in their gardens. And it seems I've already made it to number 10. I'll try and keep this video short and a little bit fun. Number 10 is that not all male dogs have good aim. So when they start to, as we call it, cocking their leg, or whatever you want to call it, I call it cocking their leg. So raising their leg to wee instead of weeing like a girl. Not all of them have very good aim. Some of them wee on themselves for the rest of their life. And it's not a medical issue most of the time. I mean, sometimes it could be, but I'm saying I've known dogs that do it not medical issue at all, just terrible aim. So you might have to start getting used to having baby wipes around the house so that the second they come in from a wee, you clean them off. Otherwise the smell, oh, you're going to start having it everywhere. But yeah, don't be upset with your dog if they've got bad aim. They can't help it. They're trying their best to learn. And just clean them off if you're offended by the smell. So yeah, that's my 10 things that I wish I knew about owning a male Dachshund. Again, it's probably relevant to dogs in general, but my channel is about Dachshunds and I have the most experience in them. So I thought I'd put this little fun video together. If you want to have the female version of this, because I do actually have more female Dachshunds than I do male, then please comment below something like girls rule. So yeah, comment below girls rule and like this video if you want the female version, and I will film it because I've got loads of things that are specific to girls too. And I'm going to go and get Nemo. If you've seen our previous video, then you're probably wanting to see him, so I'll go and get him. So here is Nemo. If you haven't seen our previous video, we had some news about Nemo. He's trying to chew my hairband. We had some news about Nemo, some pretty bad news, but we are moving forward and everything's positive because he's home with us, and he's on day 2 of his supplements now, so I thought I'd just give you an update on how that's going. And he doesn't mind them in his food, he will eat them. Yeah, so I'll keep making sure I update you guys on that anyway. What I do want to say is please do subscribe, because if we can get to 1,000 subscribers then we can start to monetize our videos, which would be really useful to pay towards Nemo's future needs. So yeah, cheers, thank you very much for watching. Oh, and yeah, I nearly forgot. It is Dachshund, not Dachshund, not Dachshund. Dachshund. Cheers guys. Mimi. See you. Hello. Oh, did you just burp? Gross.